Well, hello there, motherfucker. So, we have a very interesting thing to talk about here. So, this morning I was talking to my friend on Facebook, Leon Cavalaris, and he brought to my attention the simple fact that now Booker T and Corey Graves are now claiming that their little situation is now a work. Oh, lo and behold, it is now a work. Well, how convenient. Now, let me ask a couple of people out here because I was looking at some of the YouTube comments underneath the video I was watching of the podcast with Booker T and Corey Graves now on the same podcast. Corey Graves like, hey, how's it going, guys? Now, me and Booker are fans. We fooled you all. You're a bunch of idiots. See, all you people calling other people marks. I heard they were saying, "Oh, we had Russo and Taz, all these people that aren't in the good graces of WWE. They were all believing us, and now they're just all one big happy family." So now Booker T and Corey Graves are going to go frolicking through the flowery meadow. It's kind of going to be like the Super Smash Brothers, commercial from back in '99. No matter how we toss the dice, it's that's the paint. That's the picture they're trying to paint there. Okay, so I think that this is bullshit. I'm picking up the phone right now, and I am calling bullshit on this one, motherfuckers. No, sorry, I don't believe it. And I see a lot of other people are not believing this because you heard Booker T. There's a couple of points I'm going to bring up here in this video. Point number one, you heard Booker T. I know Booker T's one of the better actors, all the classic skits he did with Stone Cold, The Rock, and Goldust, and all the stuff he did as King Booker. He's one of the better actors. But you hear when there's actors out there, like even the ones in Hollywood, and when they're doing interviews. You clearly can tell when someone is acting and when someone is actually, talking like in reality. And Booker T was pretty pissed off. So there's no way that was a work. There was no way he was acting there. And plus, why would he say those things? Corey Graves says in this one, oh, we were just messing around. Is that how people joke? When's the last time you joked with your friend like that? Yeah, I know sometimes you'd be like, oh, come on, I'm going to kick your ass. I get that. But the way how this was, where Booker T was just broadcasting this, and it was, there's no way it was that well timed. And I guarantee you, the writers, if this is the small 0.0000001% chance that this might actually be a work, I guarantee you no WWE writers were involved in this because there's no way they could even come up with this. But why would they joke like that? I mean, it wasn't a means to an end because now that they admitted that it was a work, or they're trying to claim that it is a work. Now all the potential match or any type of future, stuff that they could do with this situation, all the heat has been let out the window. Somebody opened up the window and whoop, the heat just went right out. So what I think is here is that Booker T was spoken to here. I think McMahon or whoever it was, Stephanie sat down with Booker and said, "Hey Booker, now we're this pro-feminist, politically correct company, and we're publicly traded. If you didn't know that, so you gotta make sure that you can't just shoot from the hip anymore on your podcast. So now you gotta play nice with Corey Gray. See, the thing is here." Now, Corey Graves and Booker were together on this podcast, and they're all laughing, and Booker T is all chuckles and everything. It's so funny because you could tell that when they were on commentary together, especially those last few weeks, Booker was legit getting pissed off at Corey because you hear Corey Graves, unless you're one of these goofball 18, 19-year-old millennial fans who loves your indie wrestling and worships Corey Graves because, we got to respect Corey Graves, right? That's why Booker T has to, mind his P's and Q's now. And hey, get along with Corey Graves because we're supposed to respect it. And, in a developmental territory. So, we got to respect Corey Graves.
God forbid anybody says that they want to do anything negative to this guy because, hey, this guy he's the be all end all of color commentary on Raw. It's not like there's 50 other commentators who are better than this guy, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. Yeah, I mean, you could clearly see that Booker was getting frustrated with Corey Graves because Corey Graves at every turn was correcting Booker, trying to make Booker T look like a fool. And you could see that you noticed in my reviews how pissed off I would get for Booker T. Because it's not like I have to rush to this guy's defense. He's a fully grown man, but I'm just saying, sitting there watching this product, listening to Corey Graves trying to sound like Mr. Know It All. And I personally hate people like that myself. It's probably why it got me so pissed off. But I couldn't stand to listen to it week after week. That's why I always said Booker T should just fucking scissor kick his ass right through the fucking announce table. I mean, like, and I didn't care if it was a work or a shoot. I just wanted to see it because it's what he deserved. Like I said, if anybody deserves it, it is Corey Graves, that fuck boy with the stupid hair. That that people will probably say if I knock his tattoos, they'll talk about mine. But whether you like mine or not, at least mine are of something. I've seen this goofball. He'll get a tattoo if anything. He'll get like a horse's ass. Literally like the ass of a horse tattooed on him. If it suits him that particular day, that moment. And also like he's got it all on his neck. I mean, that's the one thing I never understood. He better hope that he's a commentator and he keeps getting support from all these marks out there because he ain't gonna get a job anywhere else looking the way like he fucking does and them fucking waxed eyebrows. Ooh. I mean, man, he's trying to look good for his boyfriend or something. I don't know. I mean, the way he was cuddling up to Booker T. I don't know. I'm saying, but okay. So, what was the purpose of this work? That's what I want to get to here. What was the purpose of this quote unquote very, very quotation mark work? Because I strongly don't believe that. Why would they do this? Like I said, first of all, who jokes like that? Second of all, why would they even do this? Why would Booker T out of the clear blue sky just start saying he's going to kick Graves' ass? And the other thing that really struck me, and I really encourage anybody that if you really haven't listened to the podcast, I strongly advise you to stop watching this video, watch the podcast, and then come back here because it'll help you understand what I'm talking about more. So, I could do something annoying, like I could edit this video up and put in some particular, some points, but I don't want to do that here. I don't want to be distracting in the video. So, do that and then, come watch this video because I don't want to edit this thing all up now. I kind of want to just get it out here tonight for everybody to hear. I don't want to have to edit it all up, So the thing is, go watch it. It'll take you. The one I watched was 4 minutes long. You don't need to listen to anything longer than that to get the gist of it. So they're saying Booker T says that when he was being told that he was going to be on the pre-shows now on the network, when he was going to be on the panel, he says he had a smile on his face. Okay. So they might say that, okay, well, Booker T, it's very stressful, right? McMahon's yammering in your ear the whole time. It's maybe too much stress for this point in Booker T's life. Maybe he wants to just, cool down a bit and he was happy with this. I think Booker T, at this point in his life, I, I'm not sure if I don't think he was inducted into the Hall of Fame yet, was he? Perhaps he was. I don't really remember. There's so many people in the Hall of Fame. I don't remember who is in there anymore, really. So Booker T is at the point in his career though where I think he's got enough pull. If you're a wrestler and they've made you a commentator on Raw,
that means they hold you in pretty high regard. If he didn't want to be there and he wanted to be on the pre-show panel, I'm pretty sure that they would have obviously found a replacement. Announcers are a dime a dozen. Yes, they're not as good anymore as they used to be, like JR and the King, but that's besides the point. I mean, where did they find the doofus that's on SmackDown? Um, I mean, it's like they don't even really try that hard. Byron, sex addict. I mean, where do they find these guys? Obviously, announcers are a dime a dozen. Through the eyes of WWE. So if Booker didn't want to be there, he didn't have to be there. Trust me. I mean, come on. I know I'm not an inside man for WWE, but if Booker T really, if it was that hard on him and to the point where he's smiling when he's being told that he don't have to be on Raw anymore. I'm pretty sure that he would have ahead of time, months ago, said to McMahon, I don't want to be there on Raw. It's too much. I just want to enjoy my retirement. Maybe do a little light stuff with like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair on the pre-show panel. I don't want to be on Raw anymore. And that would have been the case. So now they're trying to paint this picture like Booker T like willingly gave up his spot, like the heavens opened up and Booker T got exactly what he wanted. I mean, and what does that have to do, with anything really? I mean, if he didn't want to be there, he didn't have to be there, and he's making Corey Graves. Corey Graves was responsible. So now all of a sudden, now he's not responsible, and now he's happy that he got to go. Or what was it? More that he's happy to be away from Graves. Whatever the thing is, they made sure they cleared the air, and they really didn't even wait on this. This is what doesn't even make it realistic. If you were trying to pull a prank of this magnitude and you were really trying to work the people, wouldn't it have made sense to go even longer with it? They didn't even wait a week. I mean, so it's like, they had a little fire going, but it's not exactly like they set the whole entire world on fire. If they prolonged it and they kept saying shit and they kept building it up, then it would have been a big thing. But the thing is, they could have had a match out of this. They could have made a big thing. This would have been bigger than any feud we've seen in the past decade and a half, probably. I mean, you couldn't. And the thing is, what's so pathetic is that besides Big E on SmackDown making like two quips about it, remember when he said, "Oh, what is Corey Graves? I wonder if he has a better left hook or a right hook." And then he also said, "Oh, remember they made number 6 on the top 10 list." He says, "Oh, that's the percentage chance that Corey Graves would have in a fight with Booker T." Well, I think it's probably 1%, and that's even being kind. Instead of saying that shit, just like making an obscure reference, the writers should have jumped on this if it was a work and really bring this to the forefront, because it would have been more interesting than anything that they were doing on SmackDown. Do you realize that Corey Graves was more over as a heel than Sami Zayn and the Beached Whale on SmackDown? Do you guys even realize that they were more over? I mean, it's truly incredible. I mean, I'm like astonished that they couldn't see the potential in this. And so if it was a work, the WWE just let their employees just completely kill this and just, oh, it's a work. Like I said, even if it was a shoot, the WWE should have got between these two guys and they should have said, hey, just put we know you guys don't like each other, but put your differences aside just so we can make some interesting television. But they didn't even do that. Like I said, it doesn't even matter if it's a work or a shoot. It was something good. It's something that had legs. It was something that they could have took places, and they didn't take it anywhere. I mean, the thing was, they left this on the internet to rot. Why not put this on TV? Why not broadcast this to millions? Yes, there was maybe millions that saw it on the internet, but imagine if they brought it to TV, that people would have been flipping the channels and they would have said, "Holy shit, this is what I've been missing from WWE." They've got, these two guys tearing each other apart. And what an interesting history it would have been. It would have been the perfect build-up. Booker T getting furious and frustrated with Corey Graves after all these months, and finally Booker T could have just, you would have, heard, "Can you dig it, sucker?" He would have headed down to the ring. He could have called out Graves. He could have said the same thing that, "You've been making fun of me. I'm a legend. I'm a six-time world champion. You were trying to make a fool out of me for the better part of a year. And I'm calling you out in this." It would have been fucking awesome. You would have had so much heat. More, like I said, more heat than their top heels right now with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's how pathetic it is that some small thing on the internet, something that Booker T said on this podcast, was enough to ignite any sort of interest at all in a very uninteresting product right now. I don't know how they managed to fuck this up. I mean, really. I mean, I don't know if it was McMahon or the writers or anything, but it doesn't even matter because this little thing, this little situation where wrestling is all about people getting mad at each other and wanting to fight each other, the fact that they can't even come up with anything close to this, that two guys quarreling on the internet is more interesting than any of the fights they've got going on in WWE. That is truly sad and further proof that everybody on that writing team should get a pink slip. Everybody should be headed out that door. And McMahon should give himself he should cut his own pay, give himself a pink slip, and send himself fucking home. Send Stephanie and Triple H home too. There'll be nobody working at the Connecticut headquarters because they all failed. They all failed because they could have had this become a huge, colossal feud. It could have been so interesting. It could have been, a combination of a work and a shoot, and it would have been wonderful. And now that opportunity is gone because, hey guys, we were working you all along. What a bunch of bullshit. What a total letdown. And, I understand that if Booker T wants to keep his job, I'm not going to rag on the guy for, making up with Corey Graves because that's obviously what it was. It was not a work. Booker T honestly don't like Corey Graves. You could clearly tell that. Who would like that guy? As somebody said, he's got a very punchable face. I mean, the guy looks like, if you were to like buy a kit called Build the Fuck Boy, I forget about Finn Balor. Corey Graves would be like the perfect one for that. Like an erector set for a fuck boy. That would be it. That would be a Corey Graves. So, I mean, I don't know what this was all about. This is probably one of the strangest things I've ever seen, where they're actually trying to, convince us that all of this was some type of sophisticated work. And I'll be quite honest, I don't think Corey Graves is that smart. Not to knock Booker T, but I don't even think that he is that ingenious to come up with something that articulate. I really don't think so. I'm not, like I said, I'm not knocking it. Booker T, I have all the respect in the world, but this would be a bit too sophisticated. And you definitely know nobody from WWE had a hand in this because they can't even come up with a goddamn even competent, sensible storyline. Something like this, definitely not. And I don't think that this was because nothing led out of it. I mean, why would they just have this little fake fight for no reason at all and just so they could go, "Oh, we fooled everybody"? I mean, they're doing it as an opportunity, like I said, to take pot shots at Taz and Vince Russo, all their critics, because they know that these guys are getting millions of downloads and they don't like that they're talking bad about the company and that people like hearing them talk bad about the company. You've got more people listening to those podcasts, I think, that are actually watching the show or listening to any of these other guys on the internet. So they're mad about that, so they want to make, oh, we worked everybody. Look how stupid and foolish you are. You know, you can, I mean, just even listening to Corey Graves made my skin crawl. Just listening to the guy just, mockingly say, oh, he fooled the wrestling world. You didn't fool anybody. We all know what happened. You ran to WWE. You ran up to Stephanie and grabbed her by the leg. Oh, Stephanie, he talked bad about me. He said he was going to beat me up. Oh, don't worry there, Corey. We'll take care of it. And they just, they belittled Booker. They told him he couldn't, talk like that on his podcast anymore. And, lo and behold, we got the current situation here. Go out there, guys, and show them how good of friends you are. Apologize on the podcast. Say it was all work, but even if that's not very believable, I mean, seriously, who do they think that they're fooling? I wasn't born yesterday. I'm sorry, but that was legit Booker T. He's not going to be happy about them choosing the coach who just all of a sudden says, I don't want to be a part of ESPN out of the clear blue sky, and just all of a sudden gets, catapulted right into Booker T's position. Like I said, why did they pick Booker T to get swapped out over Corey Graves? Booker T would have a legit gripe about that. But now all of a sudden he's smiling. He said, oh, I accepted it with a smile on face. I'm losing my job. Right? Isn't that, I mean, don't you smile when you hear that, right? Wouldn't anybody smile, right, when they're being relieved of a position that they've been doing for a while? Like I said, if Booker T didn't want to be there, he wouldn't have been there to begin with, or he wouldn't be there as long as he was. I mean, come on. There's always been a weird thing, just like they said Booker T was a fill-in. A fill-in. Yeah, when you're there for several months, you're more than just a fill-in. I'm sorry. That was not a fill-in. Booker T was in that spot. He was the second color man, and that's all there was to it. Now they're trying to like paint this picture like he was just a temp, like he's some fucking intern. I mean, who are you fooling? This guy's a legend. Why are they disrespecting him so much? It's like I am a little bit disappointed in Booker T. Like, that he would have to lower himself to now, being friendly with Graves for the sake of having any position here in the WWE at all. But I understand that, he probably wants to keep himself busy. He probably likes the WWE. The WWE was good to him throughout the years, and he probably still wants to give back and just have fun and be there, whoever he's still friends with there. So I get that. I totally do. Like I said, I don't want to come at the guy, even if I am a bit disappointed. But there you go, guys. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Don't you think that this is bullshit? You gotta believe that it's bullshit, right? I mean, you listen to the podcast from last week versus the one that we got today, and you just gotta sit there and say to yourself, this is BS. There's no way that after all that shit that went down, that all of a sudden, oh, buddy, I love you, Grace. I love you, you love me. Corey Graves is a fuck boy. I mean, seriously, you could not believe for 2 seconds that this is legit. It's a legit friendship, especially for weeks when you heard these guys, legitimately tearing each other apart on commentary. Where Booker you saw he even said like, "I'm getting sick of you" at one time. I mean, that was not something being fed to him through the headset. Anyway. I don't want to keep going on all day about this. Like I said, it really, really kind of pissed me off hearing this. I kind of see this as Corey Graves winning. To me, it shows that Corey Graves is a very weak man, and he is not only a terrible commentator, but a terrible, weak person. I mean, he really is. I mean, this guy strikes me as he is a social justice warrior. He strikes me as just being a total fuckboy. I mean, really, I could see it now. Him going to WWE management and crying his eyes out about what Booker T said about him on his podcast. I don't know, guys. I really don't know, but all I'm saying is, like, I see the heat, the potential here, and they just fucking let it all go out the window. Bye bye, Heat. Bye bye. Anyway, guys, there you go. There's my thoughts on the situation. This has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.